Gary, everything good that Villa do tends to go through Morgan Rogers at the moment. Have you been surprised at his rise? You were at Bournemouth with him when he was on loan.
Yeah, I was, Mark. He's turned into a very special player. I had him last year in my career. I was at Bournemouth on the Scott Park. He was 18, 19 years of age, I think. Hopefully he took a good experience from that, but he certainly didn't play as much as he would have hoped. I think he played 14 games in that season. Looked very raw in situations. In training, bundles of ability. You can see that he's got what he's producing now. Fast forward, obviously, to Middlesbrough, got more game time. To then come to Villa, and a few years down the line, he is a superb young footballer, 23 years of age. What impresses me the most is them positions he takes up when he gets a ball deep, he turns and he's powerful at running with the ball. Makes things happen, starting to add goals now, assists. He's a real deal. He's a great kid, great attitude, wants to learn, but now we're just seeing it kind of come together. And when I say about him being a little bit raw, 18, 19 years of age, he's developing now and maturing very nicely. And
as it's coming together for him, it's not coming together at Villa for Harvey Elliott. For you kind of think circumstances off the field, there's nothing to do with him.
Well, he was one of those players who came in, I think, on the last day of the window alongside Jadon Sancho and Lindelof at the back. The guy who brings them in, I think, leaves a few days later, Monchi. Unai Emery's probably, you know, not best pleased, but probably not his type of players. He hasn't really used them. Really, Lindelof's done okay at centre-back. But he used to be brilliant for Liverpool for a few years off the bench. He could make an impact from there. And it'll be really interesting to see whether he uses them today. I don't think he will, because I think, as we all know, there's an appearances he's got to get to, and that, you know, sort of activates. And then that's the transfer fee. Yeah, and Aston Villa aren't going to pay that. So he may bring him on 3 or 4 times between now and the end of the season, but he certainly won't bring him on 5 times, because that's when it clicks into...
That's horrible for the player, though, isn't it?
It is, but listen, that's the ruthless nature of football. If the manager doesn't fancy the player and he doesn't think he can add to what he's got, the club going to spend whatever it is, I think, sort of 25, 30 million. He can think he can do something else with that in the summer. So, listen, I understand where Unai Emery's coming from as well, but I really feel for the young guy, because it almost feels like he's just wasted a season of his, you know, of his career.
Back to St James's Park, and Eddie Howe is also with Jules.
Eddie, you said you'd give your captain, Bruno Guimaraes, as much time as possible to try and be fit for this match, but he's not even in the squad. What is the situation with him?
Yeah, we don't think he's too bad, but not good enough for today. We'll hope that he can be fit for our next game midweek. So we have to be without him today, and that's going to be a big miss. But with Louis coming into the team, I think he can hopefully fill those shoes.
And so much confidence has been invested in Louis, and he's really having one of those seasons that's like a breakout season, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the hardest thing to do for any young player, is to have that breakout moment where you become sort of an integral part of the team. And I think he's well on the way to doing that. I think he's got great attributes. We've seen him play different positions this season, but he's back into his favoured midfield role today, so it'll be interesting to see how he does.
And just another one on the team news, as far as Dan Burn is concerned, fit enough to be on the bench. It's good to have him back, isn't it?
Yeah, massive to have him back. Just his presence, his voice, his leadership. He's had minimal training sessions, but we felt that he was ready, and he felt he was ready, most importantly, and also Will Asula to come back on as well. They're 2 big players. What about this test then against Aston Villa? You know the position that they're in, but you also know what this home crowd, this home form that you have is so impressive. Yeah, we've been doing well at home for a while. I think this will be challenged today. Aston Villa in good form, as you said. They've had a great season so far. They've been consistent. That's what we're looking for, and in part these games are the acid test for us. So we're looking forward to it. We just want to give a really good account of ourselves.
But these contests you seem to thrive in.
Well, we hope the crowd can lift us, and we hope we can lift the crowd. And I think that combination can be really powerful for us. But fundamentally against Aston Villa, we're going to have to be really good off the ball, and we're going to have to be really good on the ball. I know it's common sense, but those 2 things go together, and if we can, I think we've got a chance.
Eddie, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
And Eddie Howe has gone with Johan Visser up front this afternoon, Voltemada on the bench. Newcastle really need him now to stay fit and hit a good run of form, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I really like him. You know, he can stretch defenders, runs in behind, good finisher. He can produce more for Newcastle. I think he's got 1 goal so far. He can certainly do a little bit more. But you know, Eddie Howe's shown faith in him today. He's starting competition in that area as well. But I do like him.
And they need to play to his strengths, don't they? I mean, it must be difficult if you alternate between Voltemada and Whistle, because they're very different types of forwards.
Yeah, and I think one of the few complaints I would say really around probably Eddie Howe probably this season, because as I said, he's done a remarkable job since he's been at the club, was could you ever actually get the two of them on the pitch together, and could you almost play Voltemada almost looks like a number 10 really. And for so often a lot of the success of Newcastle have been those three powerful midfield players. Obviously no Gamaras today, Lewis Miley goes in there, but yeah, it is a team who always seem to play that one striker with three powerful midfield players behind. It'd be interesting if they ever get the chance to play the two of them. But this guy, we've just heard Eddie Howe say preferred position in central midfield. But when you're a young player coming through at a big club, and I had this at Liverpool, it's very difficult to play in your best position when you're a young player. There's obviously top players there, so you've got to find a way to get your minutes and your appearances. So what he's done actually at right back has been brilliant, and it'll be brilliant for him over the next couple of years. So it gives him another option of getting in the team and getting more appearances. But as Eddie Howe's manager said, it'd be really interesting to see how he does today.
So is that just the natural order of things when you're a young player, that you can't get in your preferred position? Well,
unless you're an absolute superstar, you know. But you know, he's going to have to bide his time. We're talking about Bruno Gamaras in there, Joe Linton, Tonali. Normally, that's the first choice midfield trade. It's one of the best midfields in the Premier League when it's at its best. And as a young player, you can't just say, I only play this position, I'm only going to play when this guy's missing. You need to try and maybe play a few other positions, and I said that builds your confidence, your experience, maturity as well. And then finally, he will eventually get his chance in midfield, I'm sure.
We talked about him when we did the Carabao Cup, and Dan Byrne with us. He's a real physical specimen, is Lewis Miley, Gary Kay. He's a big lad.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And I think just going back to what Cara said, you know, to have that kind of string to your bow, that you can play in different positions. You look at someone jumps to my mind, James Milner, can play all over the pitch. Look at his appearances. So it's a good skill to have. He's back in his comfortable position today with big shoes to fill, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
Teams just go through their final warm-ups at St James's Park, and we're not that far away from kick-offs in all of our 3 2 o'clock games. It will be time for you to make your choice which one you want to watch when we come back.
G-O-A-T, you can be the greatest of all time.
Sponsored by Bet365.
Newcastle against Aston Villa. If you want that, it's live on Sky Sports main event. Liam Rosenior takes his Chelsea side to Crystal Palace, and if you want that, that's on Sky Sports Premier League. And at the G-Tech Community Stadium, Nottingham Forest need to put some distance between themselves and West Ham. They're at Brentford, and that is on Sky Sports Plus. Make your pick now.
St James's Park, Newcastle United up against Aston Villa, one Champions League team against another desperate to get back there. And then later it's Arsenal, Manchester United. Arsenal's lead cut to 4 points yesterday. How will they respond this afternoon against Michael Carrick's side? Hi there, we'll be here through to 8 o'clock tonight, and what a studio lineup we have got for you. Two great leaders of Arsenal and Manchester United past in Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira, here with Micah Richards. Roy, do you fancy Manchester United today?
Well, you know, we're going to go for it's a guarantee.
Sounds confident. Patrick, confident for Arsenal?
It doesn't look really confident.
I know, yeah.
But I think, no, I think it's only one way today. Strongly believe that Arsenal have what it takes to win the games today. I don't see any other different result.
Roy shaking his head already. I think it's a sign of things to come, Micah. I'm looking forward to more of this later when Arsenal take on Manchester United. Our build-up will start around about 4 o'clock after we've watched Newcastle United take on Aston Villa first. And this in itself feels like a big one, Micah. 10 points between these two right now.
Yeah, Newcastle at home, obviously very excellent. I watched them against PSG in the Champions League. But you know what Aston Villa can bring to us? Tactically, Emre's so good, especially in the middle of the pitch. No Bruno as well. So it's going to be an intriguing game. Can't wait to watch this one.
Newcastle have been so strong at home, particularly this season, Roy.
Yeah, home, and they obviously would have been really disappointed with the performance and the dropping points last week against the Wolves. I thought the standard of the game was really poor, but as we know, Newcastle are very strong at home. And if they get a win today again, putting pressure obviously on teams like Liverpool, Chelsea and United.
Have you been surprised, Patrick, to see Aston Villa up there challenging with Arsenal and Manchester City?
Not really, because when you look at the quality of the players individually, I think you have a really strong team. And of course, they have a manager who have a really good experience, and the team are well organized. And when you look at this Villa team played, they play with confidence, but with a really good organization. And then, of course, they have a number 9, Wilkins, who can score goals. And I think they are doing really well so far.
He just drives them on, doesn't he, Unai Emery? He's got that spirit on the sideline every single game.
But he's a world-class manager. He's proven it over the years, consistent, and again, they've been looking to bounce back after the league. Really disappointing last week, Villa losing at home to Everton. So yeah, sets up for a brilliant game.
No Bruno for Newcastle United today, of course. Lewis Miley there, just going through your picture, in with a big chance to stake a claim in the middle of the park. But it's not just this game, remember, you can see Palace Chelsea on Sky Sports Premier League, Brentford Forest on Sky Sports Plus before Arsenal take on Manchester United later. But kicking us off here on Sky Sports main event, it's Newcastle up against Villa, and there for us, Don Goodman and Gary Taphouse.
David, thank you. A very warm welcome to a packed, rambunctious and expectant St James's Park, where Newcastle are hoping to make it 9 Premier League games unbeaten. A ground where third place Villa have won only...
And good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to JB Sports as we're here for your Premier League Live on Sunday afternoon, where Newcastle take on Aston Villa. A very big game between two very big teams. Of course, Villa sit third in the Premier League at the moment, so they'd love to try and jump into second and match the points of Manchester City. And then, of course, Newcastle sit ninth. They had a poor start to the season, but they've picked up on things as the season has gone on, and they now sit only 3 points away from the top four. If they were to win today and results around them went well, they would overtake Liverpool and they will go into those Champions League spots, which for a season that hasn't gone well so far, they will be very, very happy. Looking at the lineup as well for Newcastle, they've made one change since their last game out in the Champions League, and that's for Guimaraes, who unfortunately has picked up an injury, meaning Lewis Miley jumps into his place. And then for Aston Villa, they've made 5 changes since their game away at Fenerbahce in Turkey. They've brought in Onana up into the midfield. Bogard has unfortunately picked up an injury which could see him out for the rest of the season. They made 3 changes at the back, being Maatsen, Torres and Konza all in for Digne, Mings and Lindelof. And then, of course, Emi Martinez returns in goal. Of course, a couple of games ago, he picked up a little niggle, had to go off. Bizot came on. Bizot started against Fenerbahce. Now, Emi Martinez is back in the side for Aston Villa. Of course, one of the key things to note as well, Jadon Sancho hasn't played that many games in the league for Villa this season, but did score against Fenerbahce the other night. So maybe that's given him some confidence to push his way forward and try and do some more work here for Aston Villa this afternoon, as we are moments away from kick-off here. And I'm just going to pop up the live the scoreboard quickly because I forgot it last time, but we're getting there slowly. The more streams we're doing, the better I am at getting everything done perfectly on time. So we'll pop up the scoreboard ready for when we kick off here at St James's Park. Of course, one of my favourite stadiums personally, a lovely place is St James's Park. I'm not sure about the city of Newcastle itself. I've never been there, so not too sure on that, but I'm sure it's a nice place. I've got a river I know that runs through it. Can't remember for the life of me what the river's called. But one thing to note as well, in the last 5 games away, Ollie Watkins has scored a goal pretty much over the 5 games. He's scored 5 goals in 5 away games. So we'll be keen to see what Ollie Watkins can do here in this one as the teams are just huddled up. And we are getting ready to get underway here as it's Newcastle versus Aston Villa here at St James's Park. Of course, another thing to note as well, Voltemar has been put onto the bench. It's going to be Johan Vissa that leads the line. So that will be something to keep an eye on as well in this one. What can Johan Vissa do in that number 9 role? As we are ready just to kick off here at St James's Park. Of course, it will be Newcastle that gets us going first here. Referee making his double checks with the goalkeepers. And kick-off is underway here. And, of course, Newcastle already starting to get the ball up nice and high early in this one, and chance there for Vista to run forward, but it goes back to Emi Martinez in the 18-yard box. So forward there by Torres. And of course, another key thing to note as well for this game is John McGinn being out after his injury he suffered the other night. Of course, he could be out until the middle of next month, and he's been one of their key players in the midfield for Aston Villa. And, of course, losing against Everton and then getting that win against Fenerbahce, it's not looked too good for them as here's Sonali with a shot, and it goes so close to goal. Oh, dear me, that was a big chance there for Sonali to open up the score sheet within the first 40 seconds. Had a great burst through into the penalty area. It was Joe Linton that provided the assist on that one, and there was no one there at the back. Konza got there, went round Konza, shot at goal off the left foot to Martinez, and then Villa got there to hurry that one away. But that was a big chance there for Newcastle to get things started nice and early. And of course, with Villa, no wins, only 2 wins in the last 5. The last thing they want is to go a goal down early on in this one as down goes Miley. Cash looking to run forward there, and that will be a free kick given as well the way of Newcastle. But a nice bright start there from Sandro Tonali. Yet again, one of the most experienced guys in the league. He knows the Premier League like the back of his hand. And just a replay again of the ball from Joe Linton. It was a great run forward. He passed 3 defenders in the process, got past both Torres and Konza. And then, of course, Martinez was there to save the day and also put some confidence into him as well. So he has had a few rough games this season as Emi Martinez has stopped Tonali again in the centre of the field looking to run forward. Anthony Gordon gets dispossessed by Morgan Rogers, but it is a foul given to Gordon. So Cash there getting a telling off for that one. And it will be a free kick here for Newcastle. Once again, we'll be looking to push forward here as we head into the second minute of the game. And of course, there's been rumours as well of Unai Emery potentially moving to Aston Villa, not from Aston Villa, going from Aston Villa to Manchester United as well. So we'll see how those rumours loom around in the Aston Villa dugouts. But of course, for now, Unai Emery doing a brilliant job with the Birmingham side as a ball mispassed there by Tonali. It goes back to Villa as they run all the way back towards Emi Martinez into the 18-yard box. So Martinez will send it long onto the right-hand side here for Villa. Off the head of Watkins. Now it's here with Bendia. Finds Watkins again on the edge of the penalty area. Tries to work his way in. Chevy's there as well to try and stop him. It goes back towards Matty Cash there. And now it's him, Sancho. Finds Morgan Rogers on the edge of the area. He sends a cross in off of the leg of Malik Chev. And it will be a corner here for Aston Villa. Great start here for them. And of course, we know Aston Villa are decent when it comes to the set-piece work. So we'll have to see what they can do here with this one. Of course, I'm sure as well, I'm not sure this season. I know last season, though, Newcastle was superb in defending set-pieces. And I only remember that because I'm a Birmingham fan and we scored one of, like, I think it was 3 set-pieces in about 4 months against them in the FA Cup. That's the only reason I remember that. I'm not sure about this season. But here we go. Cross into the box there by Konza. Finds Watkins off of the head of Watkins. Finds Onana. Headed away there by Newcastle. Back with Konza now on the edge of the area. Looks to send it in with Rogers to try and find Watkins, but can't get to that one. Goes out of play. And it will be another goal kick here for Newcastle. Bright start there for Villa. Have to see what they can do over the course of this one now. As it gets launched forward here. On towards Pau Torres, collected by Linton and Gordon. But found here by Bendia, who looks to find Watkins. Tia gets there first, so stop that one from happening. But back with Rogers now, looking to go forward into the area. Bendia goes for a long shot on goal. It's saved by Nick Pope. Nearly went out of play, but luckily just about kept that one in. It was a bit of an unorthodox shot there. I don't think Nick Pope expected him to be shooting from there, Bendia. But it was on target. Could have been a superb goal indeed. Newcastle gets back underway again, as that's with Miley. Back from Tonali to Malik Chow. Newcastle just here, sitting comfortably at the back. They're looking for an opening forward, a little bit like what we saw with Joe Linton and Tonali in the first minute. Miley, of course, making his 11th start this season, has been on and off the bench, has came here for Guimaraes today, so has to prove himself once more that he does deserve a spot in the Newcastle first team. As here with Wissa, goes back towards Miley, who sends a cross onto the far side towards, that would have been towards Trippier, but it did get collected there by Martinez, so a great chance again. It was a great crossover, but of course there was nobody there to help battle with Trippier, so it went back towards Emi Martinez. And despite that, Newcastle still keep the ball here with Botman. Back with Lewis Hall now, who goes forward in towards Joe Linton. And you can always tell which one's Joe Linton just because of that very bright white hair. Wouldn't class it as blonde, I think it's safe to say it's white. So it's always very easy to tell which one is Joe Linton. And a bit of a fun fact as well. Without Bruno Guimaraes in the side, Newcastle have not won a game. So, don't know if that's more the fact of Guimaraes changes the team that much or if it's just a bit of an unlucky curse on Newcastle. But we go again here with Pope sending it forward. of course, it's nice to see as well some of the younger players getting into the side for Newcastle, such as Hall and Miley. Harvey Barnes has only been coming through as well the last couple of years, same for Gordon too. So it's nice to see Newcastle bringing in a young squad here. Lots of players to develop and only get better. As it's here with Trippier. Now forward with Harvey Barnes. Finds Visser. Harvey Barnes again in the box. Looks to find Visser once more, but Onana gets there first. And it goes back out into the centre of play again. Another great chance there for Newcastle to do something. There's back with Malik Chow now. Just inside the Newcastle half. Tonali sends it forward. Back with Botman now towards Trippier. Trippier finds Barnes. Nearly went out of play to Marley the crossover, but there's absolutely nobody there. And what a chance that could have been for Newcastle. It was an open box pretty much. The cross and all the way across. Hit off of, I think it was Cash, and will be a throw in here for Newcastle. Just a view of it again. And it did look like the ball went slightly out of play. It was a great cross through the area, but nobody there to collect it. Lewis Hall with the throw in here for Newcastle. Goes back towards Tonali. Just on the edge of the centre circle, now about 30 yards out. Great cross in to find Hall. Couldn't get on the end of it. And yet again, if that was connected with Lewis Hall's left foot, could have easily been a big chance for Newcastle to strike. And they've had quite a few chances in these first opening minutes. And of course, that's only good signs for Newcastle. Not good though for Aston Villa. Of course, still suffering with a couple of injuries in and around the squad. Of course, the main one being McGinn out, and then of course Kamara too. That just lowers them with less options in the midfield for now, especially considering Kamara could be out for quite a while. So the referee blows his whistle. Not happy with something. So ball goes back to Martinez. And we get going once again here into the 9th minute, and it's still Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 0. Of course, for both teams, that they want to be in a win here. They've got to be fighting for big points. Of course, Villa trying to jump up into second place and have more of a buffer to Liverpool and those below. And then, of course, Newcastle, if results go their way, could see them jumping up into the Champions League spots after this win. And of course, Villa being a team ahead of them, it's a really big win if you can manage to muster up something there, as it's a ball over towards Kieran Trippier on the near side, on the right-hand side for Newcastle. It's with Miley. It's a long ball collected there by Onana. And here with Visser on the edge of the area. Barnes into the area, strings it across goal. Come off the foot of Pau Torres. And that will be a corner here for Newcastle. Another big chance. And I thought at first it would have been a foul there. There was a bit of contact between, I think it was Tielemans and Joe Linton. Fell then to Harvey Barnes, who looked for a low cross in the area. And instead it found Pau Torres and not Johan Visser, who was the one who assisted him there for that one. It'll be Lewis Hall on the corner here. Of course, lots of Dan Burn not playing today. Of course, has been very good for Newcastle the past season and a half. So, big shame not to have him. As here we go again. Lewis Hall sends the ball into the area. Nice high cross, whips across the water far post. Goes out of play. And that will be a goal kick to Aston Villa. And Newcastle players not happy with that. They believe it came off a Villa player. Let's see again a view. Who did the ball come off of first? It was off Villa player. But still giving us a goal kick here. Interesting here. There's a ball set long here by Martinez. Looking to try and find Watkins and Buendia up front. Instead it collects with Joe Linton, who sends it back towards Botman. Lewis Hall now on the far side of the ball. Looking to push forward. Gets collected though by Villa. It's Buendia with the ball now. Finds Tielemans. Now with Morgan Rogers looking to push forward. A big chance here for Watkins. Watkins collects the ball. Is it a strike for Villa? No, just wide of the goal. A couple of millimetres and that would have been in the back of the net. Big chance for Aston Villa. big mistake from Sven Botman there. He did recoup the ball, lost his footing again, and that gave Wally Watkins a big chance there to open up the scoring for Aston Villa. It was a great ball forward by Morgan Rogers. Onside definitely for Watkins. Yet Malik Che got to it. Sorry, not Sven Botman. It was Malik Che got to it, fell off his foot, and then Watkins had a chance to go on goal. Nick Pope was nowhere near that one, and it went millimetres wide of goal. That really should be a chance that you're putting away, especially when you're trying to fight for Champions League positions. There we go, 12th minute in, it's Newcastle 0, Villa 0. It was given us a corner as well, so it must have off the leg of Nick Pope. So it's Tielemans now who sends it into the area. High cross to find Torres. Out of play will be a Newcastle goal kick here. A great chance there. Tielemans. Great ball into the area. Torres, he's got his head off it, but of course nowhere near on target of goal. It went the opposite way. And we have a goal as well in our game between Brentford and Nottingham Forest. Let's see what happens here then. It was a great ball into the area and a great strike as well. And that, of course, puts Nottingham Forest ahead with Igor Jesus. A brilliant goal there. So 12 minutes gone and Forest are looking to, of course, score some 3 big points. With them being only 2 points ahead of West Ham, who took their win against Sunderland, that's what Nottingham Forest need. They can't afford to have losses here. Back with Villa now, who look to get into the area. Players make a run. It's Sancho here on the right side. Looks to try and connect with Buendia, but it finds Sven Botman again. Ball out of play. It's a throw in here just on the edge of the touchline for Aston Villa. Let's see what happens here then. As it's Matty Cash who will send the throw in. Looking to find a good angle here. Sends it into the box off the head of Onana, but it hits Joe Linton first. Back with Konza. Over towards Pau Torres. So, still here with the Aston Villa in the midfield, and it's Watkins with a strike, and it was a very poorly executed one. It goes back to Nick Pope. So here we are on to the 15th minute. The ball with Tonali here on the far side. He's going to just send it over towards Trippier on the right-hand side here for Newcastle. Sends it back. And it goes back forward again towards the centre circle here. Harvey Barnes with the ball, but getting there first was Ian Matson. And it's forward here by Emi Martinez into the centre of the field here. Trying to connect with Watkins up front, can't do so. It finds Juan Vissa, but Amadou Onana gets there. So Villa back with the ball here. Onana going back to the near side to find Torres, who fires it forward. Oh, that was a challenge and a half there from Sven Botman. And down goes Harvey Barnes, but referee plays on here. So it's Buendia now with the ball. Looking to go forward, does go forward. Newcastle intervene though. It's now with Tonali, still on this near side. Miley looks to switch play. It goes back towards Sven Botman. Miley again, looking just to move forward here with this ball. And Newcastle have been very good at just sitting a little bit more on their defensive line. Just work the ball forward. As it's now with Tonali, who's dropped a little bit deep. Sends it onto the far side now for Newcastle as Anthony Gordon looking to make the run out in towards the area. Matty Cash gets there, he can't beat him. It nearly fell to Vissa, but it fell instead to Pau Torres. Back with Lewis Hall here, who looks to work his way into the area. Looks to send it out wide towards Anthony Gordon, who's just on the edge of the box. Looks to try and chip it in off the head of Tielemans. Back with Newcastle here, Tonali over towards Kieran Trippier, who misplaces that ball. It goes to Watkins. Buendia back to Watkins. They can push forward now. Let's see what can Villa do here. There's only 2 defenders there. And it's Morgan Rogers looking to try and get himself into the box. Morgan Rogers now in the area, looking to head it into the far post. He's still got the ball. He sends it across the goal. Lewis Hall sends it away. And that was a big chance there for Villa on the counter-attack. Oh. I've got the deep filter. Never mind. I'll change that. Thanks, Omi.
Still don't know why it does that, and I keep forgetting to double check if it's working. But here with Onana in the centre of play now with Villa, being pressed down heavily by Anthony Gordon. Now finds Pau Torres, who's looking to move it forward on the near side in towards Ian Matson, but he continues running through the middle channel here. Now with Tielemans, who's trying to find some options here. Just pausing play slightly, just slowing it all down a little bit. But of course all that does is allows Newcastle to form their defensive line a little bit better. Here with Matty Cash, who just passes it back in towards the Villa half, now on the edge of the centre circle. Back to Torres, who just makes his way through in towards the Newcastle half. The ball goes too long and it will go out of play. It will be a goal kick for Newcastle. There's a chance again from Rodgers. It was a great ball. He shot his way past Trippier, caught him off guard heavily. And then, of course, it was the foot of Lewis Hall it hit, not the foot of Ollie Watkins. So both teams really have had a couple of decent chances in this first half. And it just shows both teams have got to keep themselves on their toes. 1 minute, Aston Villa are all over Newcastle. Then give it another minute or two, and it's the other way around. As here's Matson in towards Watkins. Finds Buendia, who's just on the edge of the centre circle. Now this is a lot of space here for Matty Cash to drive forward on the right-hand side. He drops it back to Onana. Tielemans feeds it through in towards Rodgers. Sancho goes for the shot on goal. Oh, what a goal for Aston Villa! And it wasn't Sancho, it was Emi Buendia, and that was a superb shot, around 20 yards out from goal. Absolute insane goal there for Aston Villa. And as I was saying, it's one of those games where at any given moment a team can find an opportunity. And it was Emi Buendia who opened up the scoring here for Aston Villa. So heading into the 20th minute, it's Villa 1, Newcastle 0. Just looking at the goal again. So it was Watkins in towards Buendia. He found Matty Cash. And it was Tielemans with a great ball through in towards Rodgers, who tapped it to Buendia outside the box into the bottom left corner. And Nick Pope was getting himself nowhere near that one. It was a great assist by Rodgers. Buendia then with the shot in. That is a great way for Aston Villa to open things up here and take the lead here at St James's Park. It was just great position there. Lewis Hall tried to get there and Sven Botman, they couldn't quite deflect the ball. And now it's Villa who take the lead and, of course, move them up into, well, they don't move up into third place. They just go drawn on points with Manchester City. And it's forward here again with Villa, but it's given as a foul on Joe Linton. So Newcastle now with a chance to drive forward here. And, of course, they're going to have a little bit more urgency now, I'd imagine, to get that ball into the box and to give themselves a chance to equalise, as it's with Malik Thiaw now on the near side. Finds Trippier, who's got a great chance to launch it forward, but it's way too far and gets nowhere near the target of, I believe, that would have been Anthony Gordon. It's sent forward there by Martinez onto the left-hand side to find Watkins, but collected by Trippier. He goes into Miley, who finds Tonali. Tonali driving through the middle channel now to try and assist here potentially. And, oh, that was Onana who got there first, though. Villa again on the counter. Morgan Rodgers having a tussle with Joe Linton. It's won by Tielemans, who gets tripped up there. He falls over, so it will be a Aston Villa free kick. I think looking at it again, it was more of a stamp on the foot of Tonali. Sorry, not Tonali, no, because you've got Tielemans and Tonali down. They're both down in different areas of the pitch. Looking at it again, it was Onana with the ball. Went to Miley. That was the initial foul. Then the second one was Joe Linton just tapping the right foot there of Tielemans in a bit of a dodgy angle. And, of course, causing a slight bit of discomfort there. And, of course, Tonali down too after that initial foul. So, sorry, tackle. 2 tackles in the space of 10 seconds and 2 players are down. So we can see on our screens there, Bruno Guimaraes with his family watching on. Of course, can't play here today due to injury. Hopefully we'll be back with Newcastle shortly. And Konza and the referee just having a quick conversation. I think having a word with Konza more than anything. Of course, Newcastle team, medical team working with Tonali here. Just making sure he's ready to get up and going again. We'll have to see what Newcastle can do to kind of turn this around and give it to... Oh, and don't think that Tonali looks very comfortable at all. He's got his shoe off. This is a replay of the goal again from Emi Buendia. Morgan Rogers into him, just outside the area, probably around 20 yards out, maybe 25 yards out at maximum. And of course, for Buendia this season, that would be his 5th goal. So, not too shabby there for Emi Buendia. So just waiting here to see what happens with Sandro Tonali, who's heading his way off the field. I think he'll be coming back on. He's just obviously having to stand on the sidelines after receiving some medical treatments. And he'll be back to go once again shortly. As it looks like we're going to continue play here. Of course, it was a foul given the way of Aston Villa. So they'll kick us off again here with Emi Martinez. So with Konza, he's just outside the halfway line on the edge of the centre circle. Finds Torres, who passes it to Ian Matson, who hasn't actually done that much in the game. He's not being bad, he's just not really received much of the ball on that left-hand side. I suppose as a defender, if you don't have to defend, that's what you love especially. Is here's Watkins now on the far side, looking to get the ball into the box. Switches it back towards Matty Cash. Cash back to Watkins here. Then with Onana. And with Rogers. Great space here for Rogers to try and cross the ball in. Low crossing towards Watkins. Then finds Matty Cash. He's looking for a strike. He strikes it, hits off of Sven Botman, and goes back into the area of play here. And Villa there, just getting that ball back to Martinez to safety. Johan Visser was trying to press down on the defender. But another big chance there for Villa, as it's now still in the centre circle. As it's a great ball forward here to find Watkins, but a little bit too little power there. So it falls to Nick Pope, and he sends the ball back out into play again. Oh, and a great interception there by Villa. Tonali gets there as well, so he's tussled that one away. And now a quick move onto the right-hand side here for Newcastle with Harvey Barnes, who crosses it in towards Johan Visser. Gets sent back out by Matson. And that will be a throw-in given to Newcastle. Throw-in sent. It finds Lewis Miley on the right side. He passes it back towards Malik Thiaw, who's just switching the play to the left-hand side here for Newcastle. In towards Anthony Gordon now. He's fighting with Matty Cash. He sends it into the area. It was a very, very high cross and unfortunately went out of play. So a great idea there by Gordon to get it in, but it led to absolutely nothing. As of course, goals around in the Premier League. I don't think anything else has happened apart from that goal for Nottingham Forest. Just keeping an eye here on the other scores. So yeah, Nottingham Forest lead against Brentford. And it's still 0-0 between Palace and Chelsea. So a few interesting games on this afternoon. Of course, yet again, Crystal Palace with the, well, not rumours, but the confirm of Glasner leaving. You've got Gahey, who's moved to Manchester City. The potentiality for Mateta to leave as well. I think Villa were one of the teams who tried to get him in. So big rebuild needed for Crystal Palace heading into the next season. It's a great ball in towards Watkins again. Watkins with a really poor first touch, but it was another great chance for Villa to extend that lead, and both Cash and Onana are down. I don't know if they've collided together. Onana's screaming in pain. Cash has got a little bit of uncomfortability, it seems, there on his foot. And I don't know if Joe Linton was the one who caused that there, because he's the one being focused on. Konza's having a quick word with him as well. Not happy. And Joe Linton getting a yellow card, of course we know he's a bit of a boisterous player. And Onana does look in a lot of pain on the floor. Let's see again what happened. So Joe Linton went for the ball. Oh dear me, stood right on the ankle there of Amadou Onana. And of course Villa aren't a miss of any players with ankle injuries. They've got one out currently, and then I think that's McGinn with the ankle injury. And then, of course, you've also got Bogard out as well. But, of course, that was on the lead-up of play to when Ollie Watkins looked to score again for Villa. It was a really, well, wasn't actually a first touch there at all. He missed it completely. But if he got his foot to that, Nick Pope ran that far out, it would have just been a bit of unluckiness if Watkins didn't score it. Now, just receiving some treatments on the field of play. It was his left ankle, or just above his ankle at least, which was hit by Joe Linton. It was a great ball forward in Newcastle. It was a tackle there by Onana, but of course, with it being such an odd angle, it led to Joe Linton accidentally stamping on his left leg. And of course, when you're coming down on full power, that's not the sort of contact you want. And then on the course of that, and Cash got a bit of a tap from Joe Linton as well. No, I think that's a bit of freeze spray onto his leg, or whatever they call it. I don't know. Cold spray, freeze spray. I don't know anything about when it comes to medical side of football. Onana's back up on his feet now. Let's see, is he good enough to continue on? I don't know if he will be. He's hopping away. We'll see momentarily if he's good to continue. Emery just having a chat with his medical team, and I think Onana might be good to go. He's now having a bit of a jog. We'll see momentarily, and yes, he'll just be on the sidelines. Then he'll come back on once the referee gives him that call to. And it'll be a drop ball here to Nick Pope. So we get back underway again, and a couple of, not injuries, but a couple of stoppages due to some incidents. We're probably going to get at least 4 or 5 minutes here at the end of the first half. It's now with Malik Chow here looking to move forward. Trippier knocks it back in towards Watkins, who sends the ball out of play. Trippier sends it back in towards the centre circle with Tonali, who sends it onto the left-hand side here with Lewis Hall. He finds Anthony Gordon, who then looks to push forward too. Lewis Hall looking for the overlap, but Anthony Gordon chooses to go to the right-hand side instead. It's met with Trippier. Trippier sends it over in towards the area, and Pau Torres sends it out for a corner. And it was given as offside, so referee gave corner offside. Offsideman? Linesman gave it as offside. And yes, you can tell that was definitely offside for Kieran Trippier. Here we go again. So, Emi Martinez with the ball. We'll be sending it forward for Villa. So we head into the 31st minute of play. Of course, it was a great strike outside of the box from Emi Buendia to give Villa the lead. There's Buendia back with the ball again. Here with Watkins, sending it through the middle channel, looking to try and link up with Jadon Sancho. He can't do so as Joe Linton takes that one away. Lewis Hall just about keeps it in play. And it was a great ball there by Watkins. Just couldn't quite get anybody on the end of it. There was no one ahead of him, so Joe Linton took that one down. And now here with Onana, who sends it back towards Cedric Konza, who then goes back towards Emi Martinez. Pau Torres now, still with the defensive line here for Villa. He fires it forward in towards Miley. Now with Maatsen. He sends it forward in towards Watkins, finds Trippier. Joe Linton gets there now. He's on the right side here with Lewis Miley. Referee allows play on. Miley sends a cross in to find Vissa, but it finds Ezri Konza. Harvey Barnes looking to try and get on the end of it. He can't do so. Johan Vissa dives in towards the area to collect the ball, but he ends up going absolutely nowhere apart from hitting his head off the ground. There's Martinez as well. Down 2. Not sure what happened there, and referee just having a bit of a word there with Johan Vissa. see a replay of what happened there. As Martinez is back up on his feet. Oh, wasn't that much of a tap. It was Johan Visser just bumping into Martinez, who then went down to the floor. And also the foul that referee played on was with Joe Linton. That did not look like a foul to me. As here we go again with Newcastle on the back line, but Villa trying to intercept. Villa do intercept. A big chance here, and the referee gives a foul again. That's the second time in this game that Villa have had chances and the referee's given them a foul. Rogers not happy with that at all. Looking what happened here. So Rogers got to it. Sven Botman goes down. I don't really think that's a foul. It's a soft one. I mean, I can see why he's giving it as one, but it is quite soft, especially when Villa are throwing players. Here's Watkins in the box. Here is Emi Buendia looking to score two, but it just falls to the hands of Nick Pope. It was a very unpowerful shot there. Just in a replay, Rogers sent it across to Watkins, who then tapped it into Buendia, who had a bit of a poor shot. It got deflected as well. It was an easy save there for Nick Pope as the ball goes into the area. Headed away by Lewis Hall, who then sends the ball out of play. So it'll be an Aston Villa throw here. Just on the edge of the area. So the ball sent back in. Rogers get in there. Watkins on the edge of the area. Goal in the Crystal Palace versus Chelsea game as well. We'll see that in a moment, what happened there. As here goes Matson on the left-hand side. He's looking to get a ball crossed in. Goes back to Tielemans in the midfield. Then, of course, back to Pau Torres on the halfway line. So, seeing what happened here. It was a great chance for Chelsea. Running forward. It was a miss pass for Crystal Palace. No one was there forward at all. It was an easy chance there for Estevao to open it up. 34th minute in for Chelsea. Great goal. And here's Watkins again. It's 2v1 here. The ball goes out of play. It's a corner for Villa. Yeah, great chance there by Chelsea to take the lead, of course. Now under Liam Rosenier, ex-Hull City manager in Strasbourg. Now sits with Chelsea, who people were thinking, oh, it's not going to be the best appointment, but he has done a decent job in his first couple of games for Chelsea. And here's Nick Pope again, sending the ball long down the middle channel. Just past the halfway line. Finds Yuri Tielemans. Down goes Amadou Onana. And Joe Linton being told off again. And it's a quick replay here for Aston Villa. It's Sanchano on the right-hand side. Looking to get the ball crossed into the area. He continues running. He runs past Lewis Hall. It falls to the feet of Sven Botman. It goes out of play, and that will be a throw-in for Villa, who since that first goal have been really, really lively in this match. Constantly looking to try and press forward, and it's more Newcastle, the team, trying to get back into the game in terms of just not having much of the possession of the ball, never really getting many chances to move it forward. They're just relying on some heavy counter-attacks in this one. As it's on the left-hand side here with Ian Matson. It goes back to Torres on the halfway line. He sends it across into Tielemans, who finds Amadou Onana. They on with Cash on the right-hand side at the halfway line. Looks to get it forward, finds Rogers. Rogers makes a dart. Chipped over into Rogers from Sancho. Into the area. Can Emi Buendia get to it? No. But Tielemans does. Finds Matson again on the edge of the D. It's a great ball in. It dinks over towards Matty Cash, but it's collected by Nick Pope. And chance here for Newcastle now to push forward. Lewis Hall driving forward here. He goes down, and it's a foul given the way of Newcastle. The ball will drop now, and it will be chance here for Tonali to get us back underway again. Send Botman in towards Malik Thiaw. In towards Trippier, who passes it back, and Newcastle here just sitting with the ball calmly. It's back to Thiaw, then to Botman. Botman still with the ball on the defensive line here for Newcastle. Into Lewis Miley. Who sends it back to Botman, who goes forward to Visser, but that's going to be a foul again, given the way of Newcastle. And it was Pau Torres who intercepted and caught the foot of Visser, and he went piling down into the floor. And here goes Lewis Miley with a cross into the box, looking to try and find the head of, I think it was Joe Linton who was actually there for the taking, but it went off the head of Ezri Konza instead. So looking again, it would have been for Visser originally, but it went too deep, and it was looking to go to the way of Joe Linton, who darted forward. So it goes out of play. It's a corner here for Newcastle. Kieran Trippier, as we know, loves to take a corner. He's on this one. Player sitting at the far post here, looking just to head it in. It's a great ball into the area. Crowds in. Oh, Visser was looking to get there. Headed away by Aston Villa. Sancho with the ball now on the edge of the area. He's looking to run away with it, and he does. Here now with Buendia. Darting forward is Ian Matson, who looks to win it. Ian Matson can't win it, Joe. Nick Pope ran all the way out of his box to collect that one, and that was a massive chance for Aston Villa. And they lose it. And here's Joe Linton on the edge of the area. He gets taken down by Onana. Referee lets them continue on. Pau Torres sends it forward on the left-hand side to Rogers, who unfortunately ends up getting it towards Trippier, who finds Visser. Malik Chair on the right-hand side. Finds Trippier again. Trippier looking to cross it in. He knocks it back to Chair. About 20 yards out here with Newcastle. Goes back towards Botman. Switches it over to the left-hand side now, so it's with Lewis Hall, then in towards Anthony Gordon. He didn't have much safety there with Matty Cash, so still between those two, trading the ball. And Gordon now diving onto the right-hand side here. He's just looking for some sort of opening. Goes through the middle instead to Miley. Passes it through. I think it might be offside, but it's a crossing by Barnes. He looks to find Visser. It gets collected by Emi Martinez. But I think either way, that was offside. I'm sure we will see in a moment. Just watching again here. Oh, and he definitely offside there was Harvey Barnes. It was a great ball in, nevertheless, but of course, Emi Martinez got his hands up to that one. So we head into the 40th minute of play now, closing in on the end of the first half, and some great football by both teams, but of course, Villa are the ones who got that early goal. It's hard now with Barnes on the right-hand side. He's looking to dart into the middle, gets collected by Emi Buendia. So Buendia now has a chance to run forward. Watkins passes it back to Tielemans, who looks to send it in towards Rogers. And it goes back to Newcastle now. So Miley in the middle channel now, looking to go forward. He finds Joe Linton, who unfortunately grabs it back to Ezri Konza. Now Watkins with the ball, but Gordon gets there. It's a run forward by a couple of the Newcastle forwards, but they can't get seen there by Lewis Hall. So it goes to the wing, out to Anthony Gordon. He looks to dart past Cash. He does so. It's into the area. And yet again, a little bit too indirect by Anthony Gordon, and it goes out of play. So realistically now, Villa can just try and hope to see this first half out. It's been a great first half for Aston Villa, and this is the chance again for Ian Matson, but Nick Pope ran about 30 yards out and managed to snipe that one away. Of course, that's what you get with Nick Pope, the experience of the Newcastle goalkeeper. Knows when he gets his chances and knows when to take that risk to move forward and stop Villa from scoring that goal. As it's sent forward here by Emi Martinez. Yet again, just going long to find Watkins. Does find Watkins, gets intercepted. Emi Buendia gets there now. He's looking for another shot on goal. It was a little bit too wide there. It's a couple of metres wide of the goal. It was another great chance, and I suppose at least he's got the confidence to try and send the ball forward here. But wide of goal it goes, and nothing coming there for Emi Buendia. As the ball's back with Lewis Hall now. He sent it out of play to throw in for Villa, for Newcastle, sorry. Jadon Sancho has been very quiet in this game. I haven't seen much of him. Whenever it's been Villa attacking, you're looking at pretty much Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins and Emi Buendia only. Not seen much of Jadon Sancho in this one. And here's a chance for Newcastle to dart forward. Anthony Gordon now with the ball. Looking to find Johan Wissa. Does find Wissa, but he can't get onto the end of it. It finds Harvey Barnes on the edge of the area. He finds Trippier. Now with Lewis Smiley on the edge of the area. Tonali leaves it for Joe Linton, who goes for the shot. Back towards Morgan Rogers. Collected by Botman on the edge of the area. Back to Gordon now on the left-hand side. Lewis Hall goes for the overlap. Doesn't get there in time, so Gordon sends it into the area. Oh, what a save by Emi Martinez. Headed away then by Ezri Konza. But another big chance there for Newcastle. And if that was any other minute of the game, that could have easily been a goal. That went in. And they are denied there by another great save by Emi Martinez, who has been under a lot of criticism the last couple of games. But today has been superb, or at least in this first half, as Harvey Barnes there sends it out wide to Trippier on the right side. Chips it in, but it goes a bit too far. Finds Torres, who lands it into Emi Martinez, and Villa get that one to safety again. But watching the replay once more, Gordon chipped it over in towards Miley, who went for a head-on goal. And it was a great save off the line there for Martinez. And he really needed to stretch his arms for that one. It was a long stretch for Martinez to get to it, and luckily did do so. Landed onto Konza, who then just knocked it back forward. And Lewis Smiley looking for a goal. This season has scored 1 and has 3 assists. So looking for his second goal of the season is Lewis Smiley. But here is Martinez, who's sending the ball forward. He took it to the wrong line there. The referee's like, no, move it back. He does so. Now it's his chance to go forward here. So Martinez sends it long down the middle channel. It will go around 40 yards out from goal. It finds Rogers, who looks to link up there with Watkins, but Trippier passes it back towards Nick Pope, who sends it long down the right channel here for Newcastle. Off of Pau Torres. Meets Morgan Rogers again, who's been so good in that midfield, dropping back when he needs to into the midfield role. He sends it across to Tielemans, who's on the edge of the centre circle. Now finding Watkins, but he can't quite get the first touch properly, and it goes back to Lewis Hall. So here now with Trippier. The right side looks to find Lewis Miley, who just about kept that in play. He's got Emi Buendia on his case. Goes back to Pope. On the left-hand side now here with Botman to find Joe Linton, who yet again has been brilliant, darting around multiple positions on the pitch here. Very versatile player is Joe Linton. You can have him up front. You can have him sometimes on the left-hand wing. Sit him in the midfield as well. Always does a great job no matter where he plays. Here's Malik Cho again. Just then on the edge of the D here for Newcastle. Moving it forward now. Botman switches it to the right-hand side to get the run on towards Harvey Barnes. Barnes does get to it, but he's got to be careful it doesn't get taken down by Villa, as they do send it away. Amadou Onana sends it high and wide. Botman now collects it on the edge of the centre circle. Now, Tonali has a chance to move forward. Looking at added time here, we have 4 minutes, which I'm surprised about. I thought it would have been more than that. So I'll go to the 49th minute in this one, as it's a ball into the box to find Joe Linton, and it goes out of play. And then another chance for Newcastle. With Joe Linton. But of course, considering where Newcastle are and the fact they've won the last 3 out of 4 games and the draw last time out, they're not going to be happy with the loss here, even though they are playing the team that are third in the league, and I think probably because of all the Man City's draws, I think second in form at the moment, at least at the top of the table at least. As Newcastle try and get this one to safety, a little bit of miscommunication there, a couple of them had to get to it. As Rogers now has the ball, it was a foul given away to Newcastle. Joe Linton got dragged down by Yuri Tielemans. And he's not happy with what's gone on. He's had a go at the referee, and let's see a replay of it again. Yeah, it was Onana that dragged him down. Tielemans took the ball off of him. So double trouble there for Joe Linton. It'll be Trippier who sends this one forward. Down the middle here for Newcastle, on the edge of the area, off of the head of Onana. finds Tonali, but it goes back in towards Aston Villa, who find Ollie Watkins again. A big chance here. Gets past Lewis Hall. Watkins looking to try and find Morgan Rogers. He's got Sancho on his right. Finds Sancho. It was a poor ball, and Lewis Hall got there first. And that was another gigantic chance for Aston Villa to extend that lead up at the front. And Newcastle have been very lucky, I think, to benefit off of these poor touches from Aston Villa heading into the box as it goes out wide to Trippier now. He sends it across to Linton. Joe Linton, who's just on the edge of the penalty area. Joe Linton gets pushed over there by Ian Matson. Goes down again, and Villa get the ball once more. They were allowed to push forward. The referee called no foul. I think many players expected there to be one, so everybody's darting back in towards the Newcastle box. Morgan Rogers with the ball, looks for the shot. Gets deflected away by Malik Chow, and it will be a corner here for Newcastle, for Aston Villa, who yet again, 2 big chances in the space of 3 minutes, and both of them have come off players thinking there's a foul and there's not. So make of that what you will. But it was a great ball there by Watkins, who sent it into Morgan Rogers, and he just couldn't quite get the shot off. It hit off of Malik Chow and went out of play. And then, of course, the one before that was when it went into Sancho, but it was such a slow-rolling ball. Lewis Hall got there before Sancho did. It's a corner in. Tielemans takes it into the area for Aston Villa. Nick Pope misses it, but so does everybody else. That would have been a big scare there for Newcastle because Pope was nowhere to be seen once that ball was high and mighty. You see with Pope again, gets us back underway. Around 30 seconds of play left in the first half. It's with Botman, who finds Marley in the centre of play. He sends it out towards Malik Chow. Then it's with Sandro Tonali. Finds Lewis Marley on the right-hand side. So Newcastle again looking to get something done here. As it goes back to Trippier, and once again, Newcastle are just playing a little bit slow, and they've not really got, they're not moving it quickly, so they keep having to pass back. They're not able just to swiftly get it forward. Now it's with Lewis Hall on the left side. Goes back to Anthony Gordon, who looks for the cross into the box, looking to try and find Johan Visser. Saved by Martinez, and that's probably going to be the last kick of the first half. And it was a great ball into Visser, but he just couldn't quite connect with it with enough power. And there we have it. The first half completes here at St James's Park. It was a great goal early on by Emi Buendia, about 30 yards out of goal. Great shot into the left-hand corner. And that, of course, gave Aston Villa the lead. A couple of big chances as well for Newcastle, especially the one with Lewis Smiley heading into the 40th minute. A big save by Emi Martinez, and I'm sure Unai Emery will be very happy with how that one has gone. Other scores in the Premier League. It is still 1-0 to Chelsea as they take on Crystal Palace. It was a goal from Estevao, which was more of a mistake, really, from Crystal Palace not being able to get back in time. And then, of course, it was 1-0 up at Forest after their set piece. And it was Igor Jesus who took the goal there. So we'll be back in around 15 minutes for the second half.
live timing is just wrong, but yeah, that's very impressive. But just 5%. So Whitman's coming in. Nasser and Estra will take first and second. It'll be a Porsche 1-2 going into the final few hours of this race. I managed to locate Samuel Oram-Jones for anyone who's still interested. So he took part in the Formula Renault UK Championship in 2014. So he would have been, which was the one that was supporting BTCC at the time.
Yeah. I thought the name sounded familiar.
Yeah, he only took part in one event at Donington.
Yeah.
So
that was the same weekend
actually
with. Was that the same week? When was it? 2015.
14.
14 at Donington. I seem to remember a race with him. The name sounds familiar. That Richard John Neal talked about it. But go on.
Yeah. So the driver who won the championship that year is actually circulating on track right now. Would anyone like to hazard a guess who that was? I'll narrow it down a bit for you. It is an LMP2.
Well, that's what I'm looking actually. I will go for Jacobson.
No.
Rasmussen then.
No. Quite a famous last name.
Well, that helped. What is it? DaCosta?
No, not DaCosta.
Cassidy. Simpson. Kevin Simpson. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, who is it?
Not that famous.
Malaysia?
No, famous in motorsport.
Who?
Pietro Fittipaldi.
Oh, Fittipaldi, yeah. Forgot he was actually in the touring cars for a year.
Yeah, won the championship that year in 2014. Dominated it, in fact.
Such a weird thing when you remember the British Touring Car Championship had things like that. It was, oh, yeah. Into the pits comes the 25 BMW. So all four wheels will get changed over. Properly got sent and used. Nazar's on 15% of energy. Estuary's on 13.3. Taylor's going to come in this lap time, I can tell you. He's only on 4% of energy. I might be able to go another lap.
Absolutely outstanding. Balling from Gordon to Miley.
He probably owed them that, didn't he, after last week, Emi Martinez?
Yeah, 100%. He's made 2 key saves in today's game. But look at that. The ball's behind him to get that up and over the bar. Terrific save.
But it might have been a bit more comfortable for Aston Villa, Roy.
Yeah, they've had their opportunity. They do look dangerous going forward, of course. They might regret some of these chances. And again, Watkins, listen, credit again to the goalkeeper. It's on target, but you're thinking a real top striker would just put that in the bottom corner. He has been a threat. His movement has been good, but you're thinking at this moment in time, such big chances, you've got to take them.
And maybe here as well, Micah.
Yeah, I mean, on the counter-attack here, and Rodgers lays off the ball. You're thinking, Watkins there, take the touch in front of him. He delays, a bit too long, and then the poor pass is just, I don't know if it's confidence or whatever, but expected
confidence, mate.
Just take that and then have a shot on goal, but no.
But Aston Villa lead away from home at half-time, and they're in uncharted waters here. When we come back, we'll show you the goals from elsewhere. Big one for Igor Jesus, for Sean Dyche's Forest side at Brentford, and for Estebal. On the mark for Chelsea at Selhurst Park.
Have the actual time of that caution. IMSA's confirmed it's the longest yellow in Rolex 24 history. 6 hours, 33 minutes, 25 seconds, and 120 laps. Wow. Just wow. I'm not sure why your audio is in and out. Everything's fine on my OBS side, so maybe refresh the page just in case, but it's, OBS is fine on my side, not anything flashing up red at me. But yeah. Just
I wonder what the second longest was.
4 hours. Something along those
Was it
lines.
4? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, so it was quite long then, the second one.
Would it make it therefore the longest safety car in IMSA?
Got to be, hasn't it? Because not all the IMSA races are 24 hours long.
Yeah, this is
most of them aren't even 4 hours long.
That's true.
Yeah.
I only think it's all about Sebring. Has Sebring ever run that long on the yellow? I'm googling longest IMSA caution to see if that is.
It's probably got to be.
That is today. We have actually made history today.
Wow, not the type of history you want to make, but
yeah, confirmed. Not only in the Rolex 24-hour, but that is the longest caution in IMSA history today. 6 hours, 33 minutes, and 25 seconds. So this stream has set a record for that. We've been part of a record.
If that's not a reason to subscribe, longest caution period, I don't know what is.
You had my song.
Yes.
That was the highlight, I think.
There is also quite a big negative in the JBM world.
Oh, hello. That's not me. I didn't do that.
No, there is quite a big negative in the JBM world.
What?
Having the longest caution in IMSA history. It is also the longest time that you've had to listen to JB waffle under an IMSA caution.
That's also true, yeah.
And I'm not surprised that is the longest caution in IMSA history, to say that most of their races are either 2 hours, 40 minutes long or 100 minutes long.
Nice. Oh, hello, we've got a stopper.
Invitations, please.
That's the 73 again. It stopped on the circuit.
It might be going.
But without an invite, you could be in home.
Can't come down with whatever Aston Martin had last night.
A little bit of a hiccup stopper. Oh, I can take a seat now. There we go.
You guys didn't hear my amazing song, did you?
I'll play it for them after the.
I haven't. No, this is news to me.
I'll sing it. I'll sing it.
We might get thingy. I'll play it after.
What do you mean you'll play it?
After the race, I'll because it's all recorded, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, great. Great.
You were worried about your copyright infringement.
I was a bit.
My copyright infringement of the cover of Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
Hey, you get copyright for quite a lot of things. We got to tread the line. We have to buy the licenses as well. We just got offered the Fleetwood Mac the chain for a year. Don't know what we're doing there yet.
You need like an intro for this.
We've got one.
Do you?
Yeah, every series we've got has got an intro.
I didn't know that. I should have done my research on the JBM intros.
Admittedly, I think they're the most useless part of a broadcast because no one is ever here at the start.
What about the interesting part of the F1 intro music?
What? That's the ITV music.
Well, the old F1, the current F2 and F3, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. About how it may or may not be a well-known song, but a remix of it. And you can try and work out what song it is.
Yeah, does anyone actually know? That's a question, actually. If you watch our Formula 1 coverage, does anyone... hang on, car 36 and car 69 have gone behind the wall, by the way. As into the pit lane now comes Kevin Estre in
under a
number
bit
6.
of pressure. Leading thanks to this goal from...
so that is going to be a changeover coming through.
That is the...
Nice. Spin and finish. That continues on Sky Sports. Plus Forest in front, which is not great news for West Ham or indeed Leeds, who play tomorrow. Aston Villa looking for their first away win of 2026. They lead at St James's Park. Second half next.
Can you guys see the mountain?
Doing it wrong!
Yeah, put it down! Harry, grab that bit!
Dad, can we do this again next weekend?
Sure. The Tiguan. For all life's adventures. Volkswagen.
Coming your way this week, it's the semi-finals of the Women's Champions Cup. At 12:15 on Wednesday, you can watch Corinthians take on Gotham FC. That is actually at Brentford, as is the second semi-final when Arsenal get involved, taking on AS FAR of Morocco. That's 5:30 Sky Sports Football. The final and the third place playoff will be here at the Emirates Stadium. where Arsenal and Mikel Arteta have just arrived ahead of their game against Manchester United this afternoon. Team news for you in 15 minutes. Will Gabriel Jesus be starting up front? Well, Bukayo Saka be in the starting lineup, all to be revealed. And Michael Carrick may decide to stick with the team that brought them that victory against Manchester City, which would mean that Cunha will be on the bench again. We will see. Brian Mbeumo was the lone centre-forward, played just off the front, didn't he, in that game, to great effect against City. All will be revealed in around about 10 minutes' time. Buendia's goal, the difference at St James's Park in a really entertaining first half. Let's hand you back to Don Goodman and Gary Taphouse.
Thank you, David. We're underway in the second half. Aston Villa with a...
And here we are back with the action as Newcastle take on Aston Villa. Into the second half we go. And of course it was an early goal, 19th minute for Emi Buendia, who opened up the scoring for Villa. And already Villa with a big chance early on in the second half. Over towards Watkins. Saved by, I think that was Lewis Hall getting back there. Big chance there for Aston Villa to open it up early. A little bit like what we saw with Sandro Tonali at the start of the game in the first minutes. As here's João Vissa on the edge of the area. Looks to try and cross it in towards... As it's collected there by Villa. Here's his Sancho now on the right-hand side. Looking to run along with it here. Lewis Hall goes down. Here now with Sandro Tonali. He sends it over towards Malik Thiaw. He finds Sven Botman at the defensive line here. Onto the left-hand side now with Newcastle as ball goes out of play. I'm not sure who that is. Somebody's got a small issue. I think it's Joe Linton with a slight bit of pain. It's not good if he's having to go off here. He knocks the ball out and then plonks himself onto the floor. This is not good for Joe Linton. Just at the top of his leg, he's got some pain. Just being helped there by the medical staff of Newcastle. It looks like Ramsey is coming on here. I presume that'll be for Joe Linton. It's not good to lose Joe Linton at all, is it, for Newcastle? So it does seem like Jacob Ramsey will be coming onto the field of play. We'll see if that is off for Joe Linton, so it's Ramsey on, number 41 on for Joe Linton. So I'll see here what Jacob Ramsey can do, how he can get involved in this one for Newcastle. Of course, Joe Linton's been very good in this game, so losing him now is not good at all. As down goes one of the Newcastle players on the far side. They get back up as it's here with Ezri Konza. Oh, Newcastle look to get to it first. They do so. Here with Kieran Trippier now on the right-hand side. Buendia gets there. Maatsen takes it forward. Goes out of play. It'll be a throw in here for Newcastle. And Villa there, who was passing it out from the back, got caught off guard. And Newcastle now with an opportunity. As Sandro Tonali sends it out to the left-hand side here with Malik Thiaw. He finds, or looks to try and find, Anthony Gordon. Tonali sends it onto the far side now here with Kieran Trippier, who we know is brilliant at getting the balls into the area. Now with Lewis Miley on the edge of the area now with Sven Botman, about 20 yards out. So Gordon now on the left-hand side. He's making his way adjacent to the area. He looks to send the ball in. It goes out of play. It'll be a throw in here for Newcastle. So the ball came off of Matty Cash. Lewis Hall will be the one sending this in. Sits here now with Tonali. About 30 yards out. He finds Trippier on the right side, who goes towards Harvey Barnes. And it's taken there by Emi Buendia. A big mistake there for Newcastle. And what a poor chance there with Aston Villa. They got the ball, sent it forward towards Watkins, but there was way too much power. And that was not good at all for Villa. And of course, with the fact they could have took a lot more chances earlier on, as here's Johan Vissel looking to open up the scoring for Newcastle. Into the area. He's fighting here with Konza. Won by Hall. It's another goal here for Chelsea. João Pedro with the second here for the team, as it's a ball in towards goal. Oh, just over the top of goal by Lewis Hall. Great ball in, and it went... Oh, it was a deflection off of Yuri Tielemans. But again, a goal from João Pedro to open it up and extend it for Chelsea. 2-0 now. So they take on Crystal Palace. And of course, Liam Roseniak will be very happy with that. So both Estevao and João Pedro on the score sheets. As here's a corner for Newcastle. Trippier sends it in towards the box, into the far side. Into the hands of Emi Martinez, calm and composed. Martinez sends it forward here to Yuri Tielemans, who's looking to eye up potentially Watkins or Jadon Sancho. It's Sancho who gets there. It's taken by Jacob Ramsey. Now Lewis Hall recoups and looks to go forward. Another poor ball with Aston Villa when they're moving forward. They've had around 3 or 4 chances which they've lost due to a poor ball forward. And of course, if it carries on like this with Newcastle upon the pressure, this could really hurt them as the game goes on. It's with Anthony Gordon there, who's working his way into the area, looking for the cross in. Finds Jacob Ramsey. Back with Gordon now on the left-hand side. As Lewis Hall's there waiting for the overlap. Gordon sends it back towards Sven Botman and Tonali. They're just sitting on the edge of the Newcastle line here. Onto the right-hand side now with Harvey Barnes. Ian Matson gets there and kicks it out of play. So it's a throw in here for Newcastle. Trippier sends it back towards Malik Chow. About 30 yards out here for Newcastle on the right side. With Lewis Miley. In towards Tonali. Back to Chow. Over towards Miley again on the right-hand side. Harvey Barnes gets knocked over. Referee allows the play here on, so it will be a throw for Aston Villa. Despite it looking like a little bit of a foul there on Newcastle's behalf. And the ball here, just replaying again from Tielemans to find Jadon Sancho. Such a poor ball forward there, and that could have easily gave Villa a chance. But here we go. On the break here with Newcastle. Referee was going to allow play on originally, but then Harvey Barnes decided to push over Ian Matson. So it's a foul given the way of Aston Villa. I think it was a bit of a trip up there by Matson. No, it was just a push. Little bit unneeded there by Harvey Barnes. As it's Villa here with the free kick. Pau Torres. Referee just guiding him where to place the ball. He does place it. It goes back into the edge of the D here with Emi Martinez, who fires it forward onto the left-hand side here for Villa. Looks to find Watkins. Does find Watkins. He's just got to get a good ball into the box. He loses it again to Sven Botman. Over towards Jacob Ramsey. Now with Lewis Hall here on the left-hand side. Just inside now the Newcastle half. Goes back to Botman on the edge of the D. Now forward here with Malik Chow on the right-hand side. And Newcastle just slowing things down a little bit here with the ball. And Miley was dropping deep. He finds Tonali, who sends it over in towards Vissa, who's nowhere near where he should be. He needs to get forward quickly. As Tonali finds Botman again. Botman, who enters the Villa half now with the ball. Finds Lewis Hall. And Tonali darting forward. Through into towards Hall, who looks to try and find a brilliant ball in towards Barnes. Looks to try and find Anthony Gordon, who sends it high. And it goes nowhere near where it was meant to be. A big chance there for Newcastle to equalise here in the 55th minute, and a replay again. It was a ball in from Miley, and I think they might have just been offside as well. Ball in towards Barnes, high by Gordon, and that should be a chance really that you can kick away. And it was Trippier with the cross towards Barnes and Gordon. That was not ideal there for Newcastle, and Anthony Gordon with a big chance to equalise here. That chance is now gone. And Aston Villa gets back underway here with Konzap, who fires it into the Newcastle half here to try and find Watkins. It finds Botman. Sancho there trying to get to it, but it gets sent high and away. And the Newcastle fans are getting very rowdy now, wanting Newcastle to do something here. Martinez, he's just playing very slow with the ball. Picks it up and a little bit of time wasting here for Villa. Martinez sends it long. Trying to find Watkins once more. Goes past Watkins, finds Sven Botman, who's been really good at marking Watkins here in this match today. Done a very good job in this game. So it's with Rogers. Rogers tries to find Sancho. He shoots a goal! Oh, just wide. Good chance there. Good save for Nick Pope. And Lewis Hall sends it far down. Looking to try and find Jan Visser. But Ezra Konzap gets it back to safety with Emi Martinez. It's forward again into the central position for Villa. There's a foul given the way of Newcastle as Malik Sher decided to do a dive over Morgan Rogers. Completely jumps over him. It's a foul given the way of Newcastle. So back with the defensive line here, and Tonali just dropping really deep, as we've seen him do many times before. He's happy to just sit back a little bit more, and it allows others to run forward, especially Lewis Hall. So always likes to have a run forward, does he? And back towards Tonali with Botman now, as the ball rolls back in towards the Newcastle half. Lewis Hall in towards Tonali on the left-hand side now to find Gordon. Can't find Gordon there, so Gordon drops back a bit and he passes it to him there. It finds Lewis Miley. He looks for a cross in towards Kieran Trippier on the edge of the box. Then goes in towards Harvey Barnes. He has to go back towards Malik Chow, who looks for the cross into the area. Looking to try and find Tonali on the edge of the box on the left-hand side. He finds Lewis Hall, who sends it high into the area, off of the head of Ian Matson, and it does go out of play. It will be a corner, I believe, for Newcastle, as it looks like we have got a Leon Bailey coming on to play. Of course, was at Roma earlier in the season, now back with Aston Villa. Seems like he could be coming on to make his first appearance this season for Aston Villa. So we'll see who comes off for Leon Bailey. So it's a cross here into the area. Lewis Hall taking this one. Great ball in. Is it connected on the head? It's knocked away by Martinez. It lands back outside of the area after a head from Jacob Ramsey. And it's going to be back with Aston Villa here, as it seems we have got Leon Bailey coming on. And a replay of it again. It was off of Martinez. It was off of Jacob Ramsey. And then out of play it went. So off coming Jadon Sancho. Not too surprised he hasn't been up there that much this game. He hasn't really done much at all. So Sancho is off, and on comes Leon Bailey. Of course, Sancho is the goal scorer. Last time out against Fenerbahce in Turkey. Not been doing the same here this afternoon, so it's Bailey who comes on. We'll see what he can do. His first appearance this season for Aston Villa. Of course, coming back from Roma in Italy. And it's here with Miley, but Jacob Ramsey gets there. Quick 1-2. Now finds Tonali, who darts forward in the middle. Then to try and find Johan Visser, who has a good chance to go on towards goal. It's deflected away there by Villa. Ezri Konza gets there. It's a ball in towards Gordon. Tonali goes for the shot on goal. He goes for another shot, but it's deflected away. And now Villa have a chance to go forward. Leon Bailey looks to try and find Ollie Watkins, but Botman gets there first. Back again here with Newcastle. Jacob Ramsey looking to go out wide to Miley. Then it's caught by Emi Buendia unless Cash can get there first. He certainly can. Now it's a ball in by Miley. Out of play there off of the Head of Tielemans, who's a throw in here for Newcastle. Of course, it's still here. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle 0. The ball goes in back towards Malik Chow on the halfway line. Botman goes back to Chow on the right-hand side. Feeds it through here in towards Harvey Barnes, but he misplaces it towards Morgan Rogers. Now Tielemans fires it forward on the left-hand side, sends it out of play. And here with Newcastle again. It's forward here with Tonali on the right-hand side. Finds Lewis Miley, who's dropped back a little bit there. Then he can look to dart forward as it's Malik Chow here, looking to press forward. Newcastle just looking to build something up here. Of course, they have been the stronger team in the second half. They've had a lot more possession, a lot more shots on goal. As it is a foul given away Villa. Morgan Rogers goes down. Miley in a spot of trouble there. And now Villa very quick on the break. It's Leon Bailey here looking to score his first goal on his debut for Villa this season. Way too high. And it's out of the area there for Leon Bailey. Had a great run forward. The free kick was taken so quick by Villa. And it was a great ball for Leon Bailey, but it hit off I don't know if it hit off the foot of Botman or if it was just directed too high. It was off, yeah, no, it was not off of Botman, it was off of Malik Chow. So a corner here for Aston Villa. Of course, given the courtesy of Leon Bailey, as it does look like we're having a couple more players on for Newcastle. Voltemada and Anthony Elanga looking to come on. So we'll see what happens there with those two. We'll see who comes off and on. But first of all, it's the corner for Villa. Tielemans sends it in from the right-hand side towards the far post. Can't find the head of anybody in a Villa shirt. It goes off of Newcastle. It goes back in by Tielemans. It's sent high. Watkins can't get there before it goes out of play. It will be substitution time now for Newcastle. So it's 2 players on. We'll see who comes off here. Off comes Johan Visser. So Visser's off. And that'll be for Nick Voltemada. And then also we have Anthony Gordon off for Anthony Elanga. So one Anthony off for another. So we'll see here what these two can do. Of course, both Voltemada and Elanga coming in this season. Elanga from, I think it was Nottingham Forest if I remember correctly. And Voltemada, don't have a clue where he came from. But he's here with Newcastle as a goal. A penalty given to Chelsea. Not sure what happened there, but they were given a goal. And I think it was Fernandez who took that one. So 3 goals now. Up for Chelsea. Crystal Palace are having a really tough time of things now, aren't they? Looking at where they are in the table, they are going to start dropping down quickly. As I'm trying to get the stats up here, but they're not working. Unless I can get them to work here. Hang on, we'll try again. There we go. Boom. The stats are working. Way, finally. Right, here we go again. Back with Newcastle now on the far side. With Trippier. Elanga now. Got Mia Matson. Beats Matson. Is it in the area? Yes, it is. Oh, it just about goes out of play. So close to a big chance there for Newcastle to equalise here. As he with Villa now. Forward off of Malik Chow. He's just in the air constantly bouncing between the two sides. Newcastle get it back to safety. Of course, a key thing to notice as well later on for the Arsenal game is that Gabriel Jesus, he's starting for Arsenal. Of course, Saka and Trossard lining up at the front as well. And then looking at any notable changes here for Manchester United. Back four, same as it normally is. And they've got Mainu starting again, of course, after the departure of Ruben Amorim. Mainu's made some more starts. We've got Dorgu on as well, and then Mbermo starting up front for Manchester United. So yet again, their big signing Benjamin Sesko, a little bit of a flop really. A lot of money for someone who's done pretty much nothing for Manchester United. As here's Alanga looking to get back into the box. He's fighting Maatsen, goes out to play. And it's a throw in here for Newcastle, who have looked very lively in this second half. And during the half time, I was actually having a chat with one of my friends on WhatsApp, and he was saying that, who supports Villa, and he was saying they might regret not finishing those chances earlier on as well, because Newcastle have turned it on in the second half, like they always do when they're in a situation like this, bringing on some fresh legs. As here's Newcastle again, off of the throw-in, goes back to Lewis Hall, who sends it forward in towards Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes, no, so close to equalising here for Newcastle. Got caught by Emi Martinez, who is having a really good game in goal. A lot different to what we've seen in the past by him, but it was a misplaced ball there by Bailey. Finds Barnes. Out wide to Lewis Hall, who looks to try and cross it in. It's a good cross. Can it go off Lalanga? No, I think it went off of Ian Maatsen, but it gets collected off by Emi Martinez, and back to safety for Aston Villa, who was certainly now under some pressure, especially with the heavy head of Nick Voltemade up front. Bit of a different style of play up to Johan Vissap, so they've got to change a little bit there. And now Villa have a chance to dive forward. Here with Emi Buendia, onto the wing with Ollie Watkins on the left-hand side. He's got Trippier for company. Back with Tielemans now. They're into Watkins. Has a great dart to get into the box. Of course, he's slipped a lot on the ball and lost it quite a few times. He goes back towards Pau Torres, who finds Buendia. Torres back forward with Onana, but it gets taken by Nick Voltemade. Chance now for Newcastle to dive forward. Louis Smiley gets to the ball now on the right-hand side. He's been chased down by Emi Buendia. He still continues on with the run. Tielemans is trying to get there as well. Still with Louis Smiley into the area. In towards Harvey Barnes again. And it's found by Lewis Hall, but Leon Bailey takes that one to safety. He sends it forward. And now with Morgan Rogers, but it's taken by Sven Botman, who's had a really good game here for Newcastle again. Oh, and in towards Hall, but it had to stretch a little bit too much there, and Leon Bailey sends it out of play, who since coming on has been really good for Villa. More defensive than attacking, but really good work by Leon Bailey, especially if he wants to try and get his way back into the side. We know that Unai Emery will be very strict with who he wants in, and if you're playing bad, you've got no chance of starting. So Leon Bailey really needs to prove himself here, as Villa can strive forward now with Tielemans, who goes rolling. Referee doesn't call foul. He lets play to go on, as it's now Tonali driving down the middle onto the right-hand side here with Alanga. Trippier's there as well. Pass it through to Trippier, who crosses it into the box. It was too low. Feigned by Pau Torres. Goes out of play. And it's a corner for Newcastle with 20-odd minutes to go here. Villa really have to, I think, get a second goal to have some sort of safety, because Newcastle have been really strong in this second half, as Yuri Tielemans went down as well. So we'll see what happens to him. But it was a great ball from Ramsey, who found Botman there, as it was forward then with Villa. And Lewis Miley, big strong tackle to Yuri Tielemans, who had a really good run forward, but of course there was four of them there, and it was Yuri Tielemans surrounded by them, as he's back up, hopping along, but he'll be good to continue on. Well, Yuri Tielemans. And I'm starting to think when we'll see any more changes for Aston Villa. They've only made one change in this game, and that's for Sancho, and it was Sancho going off for Bailey. Of course, 3 changes for Newcastle. They've brought on Ramsey, Voltemade and Alanga. And as I say that, there's a couple of players getting ready at Aston Villa. I think I saw 2 of them stripping their shirts, so we'll see when they can get on. But here's a corner for Newcastle to try and equalise here with 20 minutes to go in this game. Great ball in by Hall. Off of Onana away. Falls to Tonali. Tonali tries to head it back towards goal, but it goes a little bit too wide. And we have substitutions now for Aston Villa. So we'll see who's coming on here. As Tielemans is down again. And I mean, down twice in the space of a couple of minutes. We've lost Bogard, we've lost McGinn and Kamara. Can't be losing another midfielder as well, that being Tielemans, as we have, seems to be Mings and Dina coming on here for Aston Villa. So 2 defensive players. And all the players now just going back towards their dugouts. Quick chat with the manager, quick drink, resets and go again. And Nuno Emery, he's not going to be happy at the moment because Villa have just really not been there in this second half. But it will be Tyrone Mings and Lucas Digne coming on for Villa. Tielemans just receiving some treatment. He's not good at all for Villa if Tielemans goes as well. Really, really not good. Let's see what happened here then. So, looking at the clip, I think it was more the landing than the contact between himself and Lewis Miley. It does look like in a lot of discomfort indeed. He's back standing up. We'll see what happens as, well, one of the Villa fans not happy in the crowd. That's for sure. Looks quite worried. And lots of whistling and booing. They want to get things underway quickly here. The substitutions are they coming on this time or not? We're just waiting for something to happen here. So Tielemans is heading off the touchline. I think he'll definitely be coming off here, as he's walking around with the medical staff. Maybe it's better just to take him off and let him rest, because with the issues they have in midfield, they don't really want to have another one out potentially. As it's now, with Newcastle, of course, Villa temporarily down to 10 men here. As it's Leon Bailey on the right-hand side. He finds Watkins, who's not had the best game at all, has he, today, Ollie Watkins? Of course, as we said earlier, has scored 5 goals in the past 5 away games in the Premier League, but today has not looked like doing anything up front at all. Has had a few missed balls on about 3 or 4 occasions up front, which were big chances. As ball goes out to play again, another throw-in for Villa. Another change coming on as well, so it looks like we've got coming on 2. Villa. Trying to find who it is. I think it is Bogard, sorry. So no, it's not Bogard who's injured, it was Kamara. Boubacar Kamara's out. Bogard's still happy to play, so he'll be coming on as well for Yuri Tielemans. And I presume just 2 of our defenders will be coming off as well. And now Miley's looking to go forward here with the ball on the right-hand side. Finds Tonali. He looks to move it forward. He sends a dink forward, but it hits off of Ian Matson. Back down towards the Newcastle defence, though, with Sven Botman. He looks to move it out on to the left-hand side here, Tonali. Who looks to go to Harvey Barnes on the left. Barnes now working his way to the penalty area. He tries to find Lewis Hall, but it was Leon Bailey that got there first. And Bailey's got to get this one out of danger here for Villa. Finds Cash. Cash rolls it out to play, and it'll be thrown for Newcastle. As we are now getting our substitutions. So coming off is Pau Torres for Tyrone Mings. And then we also see Emi Buendia going off as well. And that'll be for Luca Digne. So Villa now looking just to cement in some defence. And then, of course, we also have, I presume, Tielemans going off too. Yeah, Tielemans off for Bogard. See what the Dutchman can do. So that's all of 4 of 5 changes now done for Villa. and they have one left, and Newcastle have 2 changes left to make, so there could still be some changes in this one as we enter the remaining 15 minutes of this game. It's been very quiet since Villa scored that goal early on, but I'm sure this is one of those games where anything can change very quickly. As Miley over towards Botman. He's looking to move it forward here, but he's just stuck for options. That's the issue that they sometimes have here, Newcastle. They've put themselves into some sticky spots so nobody can seem to get the ball forward. Here's Miley. Big chance into the area. Saved by Emi Martinez. That was a really good chance for Newcastle again, and Martinez safely taken by him. Replay again. It was a great ball. Onside just about for Miley. He sent it in. And, of course, big chance there is now. Here we go with Villa looking to go forward here. Is it Sudinia? He sends it forward in towards Maatsen. And sits with Onana now, just about halfway into the Newcastle half. Maatsen on the left-hand side finds Rogers. Rogers goes back to Onana. Of course, with Villa having that 1-0 lead now, they're probably going to take less risks because they don't want Newcastle on the counter-attack. As Rogers looks for a shot, he goes down just on the edge of the area. Referee calls for nothing and lets them play on. Now here's a chance for Newcastle to move forward. It's Alanga. Voltemara's up there as well. On the counter-attack for Newcastle, it goes way too deep there and no ball found by Nick Voltemara. And it falls to Lewis Hall. He leaves it for Tonali. And now on the left-hand side here with Sandro Tonali. He goes back into the middle here with Miley. Miley sends it out wide towards Kieran Trippier. He finds Alanga on the edge of the area now. Dini's there to try and cover. Miley and Alanga now on the right-hand side are looking for something. Alanga's going to send a cross in towards Voltemara. It goes off the head of Konza, and it will be a corner given away of Newcastle. Great ball there. And of course, Rogers went down. Looking at it again. You could easily call for a foul there. The contact is on the edge of the penalty area. You probably could call for a free kick. Voltemara beaten by Konza. So it would be a corner here for Newcastle. Of course, Voltemara's been quite clinical up front this season. 7 goals and 2 assists this season. Ooh, that corner nearly turned into... Well, I think it was classed as a shot on goal because Martinez had to get there to save it. He then goes down onto the ground holding his back. So a bit of time waiting here, or is it another situation where Emi Martinez has got himself a bit of a niggle? He might have to go off. We've seen it in the past with Emi Martinez. Notably a couple of weeks ago at half-time when he had to get subbed off. But I think he should be good to go again. He's been helped up by the referee. Just a bit of time wasting there. So watching it again. I think it was just Martinez hit his back off the post. So a bit of discomfort momentarily. So we go again. Martinez back up and sends the ball forward. Through the middle. Looking to find Watkins, who falls down. Botman was there to do that. Then finds Rogers. Bailey in towards Maatsen. Maatsen finds Bailey again. But Lewis Hall gets there. Out wide towards Trippier on the right-hand side, who sends it forward to in towards Anthony Alanga. He gets tripped up there by one of the Villa players, that being Lucas Digne, who gets given a yellow card as well for that challenge. That was a big chance as well for Alanga to go forward there. Watching it again, complete trip up by Lucas Digne, nowhere near the ball. It was that knee of Anthony Alanga. That's a yellow card given away of Digne. So free kick will be going to Newcastle. This is just on, well, exactly on the halfway line. This is this ball to be Tonali, who would send this one forward. Sends it in towards the area. Martinez fell straight to it, and now Villa were looking to get quickly back on the ball, and it's sent out by Nick Pope. He ran it completely out of his area. He's got to rush back for when Villa look to try and fight forward. Here's Leon Bailey on the edge of the area, a miss by Rogers. falls it to Tonali, who then gets dragged down by Bailey, who drags him down. Referee allows play on now, as Tonali looks quite injured in his back, so I think he'll just have to get back up here at some point because the referee's not allowing a foul for that one. Now with Rogers, looking to find Bailey on the edge of the area. Back with Rogers again. Across in towards Ian Matson. Matson back to Rogers on the edge of the area. Tripped up by Tonali. A free kick given away of Aston Villa. And I think the referee's reaching for a yellow card for Tonali. He looked like he was putting his hand in his pocket. Trippier and Lewis Hall having a word with the referee there. I'm watching this one again. Poor footwork there by both Bailey and Rogers. Then Bailey trips over Tonali. Tonali's injured in his back, and he gets back up and commits a foul, and it's a free kick to Villa on the edge of the area. And now see what Aston Villa can do. It'll be Rogers, I think, taking this one. Of course, Emi Buendia, the goal scorer of this game for Aston Villa to start it off earlier on. Rogers and Matson are eyeing up this. I presume, though, it'll just be off of Morgan Rogers. Let's see here what Rogers can do. Just left to the centre here of the penalty area. Oh, Mings has pointed to the referee to have a word with somebody. I think it's a couple of players standing over the line potentially. So the referee was going back to make sure everybody's behind that wall. Behind the line for the wall, sorry. The referee's drawn a second one as well, just so everybody's in that perfect position. So just left to centre here for Rogers. Around 19 yards out. We'll look to try and send this one in. Or Matson. It's Rogers who goes for a free kick. It's in towards Nick Pope. Straight at the hands of the goalkeeper. And now Newcastle can look to strive forward again. Alanga's with it. Alanga's still got it, but it falls to the feet of Ezri Konsa. But Tonali on the counter on the left-hand side. Onana gets there first. Poor ball, but it lands in towards Leon Bailey, who finds Tonali. Tonali again with Hall. 9 minutes to go in this game. Newcastle need an equaliser here. So they haven't lost in 4, and they've had 10 points in the last 4 games. Of course, losing to Villa, yes, they are third in the league, but you still don't want to be in that position where you lose to them. Especially when you're trying to fight for the top 5. Like I said earlier on, if results go their way, they could end up in the top 5, top 4 here. Of course, with Chelsea's win, they're now currently 4th, ahead of Liverpool, who dropped to 5th after their loss against Bournemouth. Getting a taste of their own medicine. It was a late goal. I can't remember who it was, but it was a 95th minute winner for Bournemouth. Of course, there's been rumours of potentially Xabi Alonso taking the place of Arne Slot. Here's Lewis Morley on the edge of the area, trying to work his way in. He passes it back to Alanga, who sends a high cross. It hits off of Tyrone Mings. And I think it was given as offside there as well. No, it wasn't given as offside. The referee's calling over to the dugouts as we have a change. And it's going to be Joe Willock coming on for Tonali. So Tonali's off here. Willock on. Good player is Joe Willock. Young player as well, so we'll see what he can do here with 7 minutes to go in this one. Joe Willock has made 11 appearances this season. 2 of them started, so a bit more of a squad player, a fringe player for Newcastle. As Barnes sends it forward into what was going to be Nick Voltemade, but it found the foot of Onana, went out of play. It's a throw in here about 25 yards out for Lewis Hall. He sends it in towards Voltemade, collected by Villa now. Mings goes back to Emil Martinez. Alanga's pushing up high, but Martinez sends it down the middle channel. Off of Lewis Hall, who finds Nick Pope there. So Newcastle on the break quickly. Jacob Ramsey on the left-hand side, looking to move forward here for Newcastle. Looking to try and find Alanga. Can't find Alanga. It goes back to Ezri Konsa. And Martinez gets that one sent back up high again. Lewis Hall looks for the ball. It goes in towards Botman. Hall again on the defensive line here, just halfway into Newcastle's half. Back into Villa's half now here with Joe Willock. He looks to try and find Alanga, but Alanga ran offside at the wrong moment, so he couldn't receive the ball. It's headed in towards Willock here now on the edge of the area. Mings lets it go out of play, and it's a goal kick for Aston Villa. With 5 minutes to go, this win is looking ever so more likely. But of course, Newcastle in this second half have been the better side, I think, rather comfortably. So Villa are kind of hoping that that 90-minute whistle blow comes as quick as possible, because they've just got to see out the win here. There's another goal as well at the G-Tech Stadium, and this is for Nottingham Forest to take it 2-0. It was a great goal. Is it Jesus again? It is indeed. 2-0 now for... No, sorry, it was Awaniyi there for Forest. So it's 2-0 to Nottingham Forest away at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Brentford, of course. So Brentford now, a couple of big losses in the past couple of games. They'll start to drop down the table if they're not careful. You can see they're now down to 9th. Of course, Forest now bring that gap up to 5 points ahead of West Ham, who were only 2 points back before this game, as they took a great win against Sunderland at home. Is now here with Watkins, looking to go forward. He goes for a long strike on goal. A great save by Nick Pope. And Watkins then looks distraught with that one. It was a great strike, but it was saved by Nick Pope. A brilliant job by the Newcastle goalkeeper. And Watkins just goes for the shot. It was on target. It was a great strike, but fell right into Nick Pope's hands. Knocks it away, and it's a corner here for Aston Villa. 4 minutes to go. If they can get a goal here, that's most likely the win sealed. But of course, they've got to try and do it now. As they send it into the box here. It's Dino on the corner. A couple of players down in the area. Trippier heads it high. Tio tries to send it high as well, but it goes back into the area here with Luca Digne. He sends it high. It goes to no one. It goes to Watkins, who scores! And Villa, in the dying moments of the game, make it 2-0. And that win is certainly sealed, I think, for the Birmingham side. The Villains will be happy with this one. It was a great header by Ollie Watkins. It was the ball was lost from Villa. It fell to Digne by accident on the left-hand side of the area. He sent it in towards Watkins, and there was no save of that one by Nick Pope. So it seems that 3 points are probably all done and dusted here for Aston Villa, as I think there's been a goal as well for Crystal Palace. We'll try and see what happened with that one in a moment. That's just popped up on my screen, but it fell to Cash. Roger sent it in towards Digne. Digne sent a ball in. It fell to Watkins, and none of the defenders from Newcastle saw Watkins running forward. So it was just a free goal there for Ollie Watkins, who has had, I think until now, quite a poor game. Has had many chances, missed them, has slipped off the ball a couple of times, and that makes it another goal for Ollie Watkins this season. That's now his 8th goal in 22 games. And Unai Emery very happy with that one as well. So it now puts them back level on points with Aston Villa. Sorry, with Man City. They're 4 points away from Arsenal, of course, who are yet to play in this game. And there we go. Ollie Watkins will be very happy with that one. I believe Onana's coming off as well. Amadou Onana off for Victor Lindelof, who will be just lining up at the back here. And just Villeneuve can just sit back and just draw this one out. So Lindelof on for Amadou Onana. There we go. Aston Villa 2-0 now. An 87th minute goal to extend the lead. Don't think there's much now that Newcastle can do to take even a point from this one. As it's forward here towards Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side. Lots of space to make it into the box. He beats Matty Cash. He beats Bogard. He looks for the shots on goal. It's headed away by Aston Villa. It still falls to Nick Voltemada. He looks to try and send it forward on the left-hand side now. Finds Lewis Hall. Hall's not really got many places to go. Now it finds Lewis Miley. 8 wide to Matty Cash. It's back with Newcastle now into their half. And with Botman. On towards Ramsey now in the centre of the field. Halfway in towards the Aston Villa half. Bailey looks to get to it, but he can't do so. Ramsey in towards Molly on the edge of the area. He sends it over towards Kieran Trippier, who launches it into the box. It's off of Onana. It's Alanga trying to get to it. Alanga can't get to it. And we have 8 minutes of added time here in this one. As it's Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 2 here. 8 minutes of added time. It's been a very lively second half. Off of the arm of Maatsen, but he wasn't giving us anything because it was nothing he could do to avoid that. And the referee, I think, referring to VAR for that handball potentially there. I presume nothing will get given. It didn't look like a penalty worthy to me. No, and the referee does let play on. So a quick look at the VAR and it's all fine to go. As now a big chance here for Newcastle. It's Anthony Alanga, but Martinez gets there just in time. And we've seen so many times this game where both Martinez and Nick Pope have had to run out the box completely. That's a short ball forward to Konza on the edge of the area. Now towards Lucas Digne, who's running along the left flank. He finds Maatsen. Goes back towards Edric Konza. Morgan Rogers sitting a bit deeper now. Villa happy just to sit deep, just to thaw this one out. It's a 2-0 lead here with 7 minutes to go. You're not really going to be conceding 2 goals, I'd imagine, especially when you sit nice and deep. It's a ball into the air by Newcastle. Lucas Digne fires it forward off of the rebound. Now with Ramsey, who sends it far in towards Kieran Trippier. Now down the right-hand side for Alanga. He gets dragged down by Maatsen, who gets a yellow card for that challenge. So, not good at all there for Ian Maatsen. And it was Alanga who was dragged down for that one. Ian Maatsen, another player who we saw was quite... He wasn't there in the first half. He wasn't doing much. Came to the second half. Has been a lot more prevalent in the Aston Villa team this half. Impressed as well still with Leon Bailey, who makes his first game this season for the Villa side. As Mings sends it away, falls back towards Trippier, who sends it into the area. Way too deep on that one. So Newcastle, another big miss for them. So we'll see here now what Newcastle can do, but I don't think there's much they can do to end this off. I think it will finish 2-0 here at St James's Park in the favour of the away team, being Aston Villa. Just grabbing myself a drink. If I can get the can, that is. There we go. So, we continue on. Trippier now looks to find Alanga, but he was offside, so he has to leave it. And it falls now down towards Martinez, into Konza on the edge of the penalty area. He plays it forward here. On the right-hand side here with Cashew sends it forward, but it's collected here by Lewis Miley in the centre of the play. Out wide now towards Kieran Trippier. Finds Alanga. Alanga in towards Miley. Miley fires it forward in towards Voltemada. Looks to try and find Alanga, but it hits off of Harvey Barnes. So he's now got an opportunity on the edge of the area on the left-hand side. Fires it into the box. Doesn't find any Newcastle player. It falls back. Eventually in towards Lewis Miley. Back with Barnes again. He goes into the area. Cuts inside. Looks for the strike. Hits off the head of Voltemada. and that should be a goal kick for Aston Villa. Because of course, coming up right after this one, we are going live to the Emirates as Arsenal take on Manchester United. Now that is a big game indeed. Of course, Arsenal haven't won the league in 22 years since they last won the Premier League, and they've been in this spot before where they've had the lead comfortably and they lose it. We're about over halfway point now in this season. If they win today, that gap goes up to 7 points between themselves and Manchester City / Aston Villa. And of course, Manchester United, who since sacking Amorim have been doing quite a decent job this season. They sit P6 currently, but a win for them would put them ahead of Chelsea and would put them into the Champions League spots, a place they haven't been for quite a while. So Man United are just looking now to just extend on what they're doing with Michael Carrick, who came in recently. He was actually linked with jobs in the Championship, but he went to his former club, to Manchester United, and has done a great job so far. And the ball goes out of play there from Leon Bailey. It's going to be a goal kick for Newcastle. But yes, a big game for both Arsenal and Man United. Two of the biggest teams in England, two of the biggest teams in the world for sure. As it's forward now here with Newcastle, just trying to do something to end off the game. It's back with Villa though. 20 yards out with Bailey on the right-hand side, on the edge of the area. He's running forward. Botman's there for company. He keeps the ball. He drives back towards Matty Cash now. About 30 yards out. In towards Rogers. Back forward to Bailey. Rogers on the edge of the area. Back with Matty Cash. Into Bailey. Bailey trips it forward into Morgan Rogers on about 5 yards out now. He's looking for the cross in. It's a short ball in towards Digne. It's now with Matson, who looks to strike. He goes down in the area. Referee says no, penalty. I might be happy with that one. The ball there did fall. Oh, and I mean, that was dodgy one indeed. So we go back to play here. It's back with Villa at their own end. Just got to safety. Watkins with a great ball through the legs of Lewis Miley. Now here with Bogard. Looking to find Lucas Digne on the flank on the left-hand side. He does find Lucas Digne. Digne looking for some options. Now with Matson. Over to the left-hand side still with Bogard, who goes all the way back to the halfway line here with Villa. It's Mings in towards Collins now in the centre circle. Forward slightly towards Villa again. Now it's with Rogers back towards Matty Cash. And it goes out of play. And it was Emi Buendia given the man of the match, and that is, I think, perfectly justifiable. Brilliant, of course, scored one of 2 goals in this game. Been a really clinical player this afternoon. Had many chances to run forward as well in the first half. Got brought off earlier on just to give a bit more defensive attributes to Villa. As here with Newcastle with Joe Willock on the right-hand side. And it is full-time here at St James's Park. And it's Newcastle who, after no defeats in 4, fall foul to Aston Villa. It was a great goal to start it off by Emi Buendia in the 19th minute. Outside of the box, it was a perfect strike. And then Ollie Watkins with a header in the 87th minute to seal the deal for Aston Villa. I've got to say, a great game for the Villains. I think Emi Martinez, a lot better today than he has been in the past couple of appearances, so he'll be happy with that one. But Newcastle not happy at all. They stay down at 9th in the table, and Aston Villa now sit drawn with Man City. But we'll be ending the stream here, as we are going to be back in around half an hour's time, as it's Arsenal at the Emirates that take on Manchester United.